Welcome back to Terror by the Bay. I'm David. All right, this is going to be a brief reading on Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump. Just want to get kind of a vibe from them. You know, they left the Trump administration early, but I still think it was in January of 2021. Yeah, they retired in January 2021 at the end of Donald Trump's administration, and Ivanka said, "I'm never going back into politics again." Instead, after being shunned by the New York social scene, they instead are going into building a luxury hotel or something along those lines. She was quoted as saying during an interview that right now I'm working with my husband, that would be Jared. We have this 1,400 acre island in the Mediterranean, and we're bringing in the best architects and the best brands. Sound like anybody you know? And it's in Albania. And she was saying Aman's going to operate the hotel for us. Aman is a luxury hotel and villa brand run by a Russian, somebody who was born in the Soviet Union, renounced his Russian citizenship, is now has Swedish citizenship. His last name is like Donin or something like that. He dated Naomi Campbell for a few years back in the late aughts, early 2010s. So it looks like they're going to build a hotel. There's going to be villas. And we have Carbone, I'm not sure who that is, who's doing food and beverage. I imagine that's some foodie or something like that. But basically, they are trying to build luxury hotels, do the stuff their dad really couldn't do, and teaming up with high-powered movers and shakers on this. In looking up this Aman resort brand, there's to join it, you have to spend $100,000 as a membership initiation fee, and then $15,000 a year, and that gets you access to a private office where you can plan your vacations to these various resorts, which can cost, $1,500 a night for rooms, up to $50,000 for villas. So I don't know if that's a night, but it could be, I suppose. So it's, as the article said, for the haves and the have-mores. So she and Jared are living their best lives. But I want to find out what knowledge did they have of the January 6th thing, and is that what caused them to leave Dodge? Okay? Entertainment purposes only. Deck is upside down. Central to the reading, when I'm asking, did they have knowledge of January 6th? Hopes, wishes, dreams fulfilled. Life of luxury, everything you want in this world. That's where they're at now, certainly. But I was asking back then, and I think they had some knowledge. By the way, the shadow card's the devil, so Donald's underneath all of this. You have the Nine of Wands and the Nine of Cups. They probably knew what Trump was up to, and they didn't think it was going to work. And they didn't want to get saddled with this. I thought they left sooner than that out of the government, but it turns out they didn't. In the past, you had the Seven of Wands. They were fighting with Trump. They got called globalists and stuff like that by the Steve Bannons of the world because they were trying to, try to get Trump to be legit, I suppose. But they made their money. They made their money on this one. They got security clearances. They got a lot of information, which is of value. And I think it helped them, and also helped them get into money. You had the Saudi fund, the $2 billion Saudi fund investment in Jared Kushner's hedge fund, which Kushner gets paid $40 to $50 million a year to manage. All from the government. All from, government work, federal office work, and stuff like that. I was asking if they knew what was going on. I think they had. I don't think they were included in the planning, but they had an inkling. They knew him, and they knew what he was up to. They had an idea of what's going on, and they got out of Dodge. Why? Because they didn't want to be held accountable for that. They got theirs, and they left. They took as much as they could. The only thing they didn't take with them was the Lincoln bust. I don't think. there could be some culpability here. If you knew something was going on, you need to say something. But I think they're going to get away with this one. Or I don't think they were involved in the planning. In some ways, they were too smart to get involved in that one. And I think that's part of Ivanka's training, if as it were, with living with her dad. She knows how her dad manipulates people. So she herself got clever and understood how to manipulate him while he's manipulating people, if that makes sense. So she's kind of like, she's immune to his toxin. His honeyed words don't work on her. She'll throw it right back at him, and it's a dueling match. But yeah, the poison on his sword does not affect her even a little bit. She's above and beyond that. How will this business adventure of theirs, just a 4-carder, how does this business adventure of theirs work out in Albania? This island is 1,400 acre island in the Mediterranean. Is that going to work out for him? Or is this just a bunch of hyperbole? Okay. Little 4-carder. How's that going to work out for him? Eight of Swords. Might be tying up a lot of their money and time. It may not work out. It may not work out in their best interest. Why is that? You got the Page of Cups, the Page of Swords, this youthful energy here, the 3 of Coins, and the King of Wands. King of Wands is often my Department of Justice card. It's often been considered that Ivanka is the one that's going to roll on her dad and out him. And she's kind of stuck with that. Maggie's not going to be upset with him. But is it going to work out? I don't know. Because there's dark money behind this. And this might be something to do with Jared and that hedge fund that he manages. They have millions from that. But this is something like... It's almost like the Department of Justice is coming after them. They put a freeze on their finances, that kind of thing. It's like they're not sure if this money that Jared's got is on the up and up, so they put a freeze on their finances. And now you can't finance this project. And you kind of have to let it go because the timing's no longer right because of darkness that's going on in there. So will this thing work out? I'm going to guess there's going to be something that ties them up financially. Like their assets get frozen somehow. Why? I'm not sure. But I'm sure it has something to do with Jared. Okay. What's going on? Why do their finances get frozen? What's the... Do they have culpability for January 6th? Or, Jared's got culpability with Khashoggi, I think. That's what other folks have seen. What's going on with Jared? Is there something that freezes up his finances that causes him to go to prison? Let's see. Jared and the law. The star card. Somebody's a star witness. What are we crossing that with? The Page of Wands. Very Middle Eastern feel for that one. He might be the focus of something involving an adventure in the Middle East. Then you got the Empress card, and he's been paid nicely for it. It's like, this is one of those follow the money cards. That $2 billion, the hedge fund, people are going to get Sheldon Whitehouse, turn his super sniffer on that one. They'll start turning stuff under. Like, why did this hedge fund give you $2 billion? they're all worried about Hunter Biden and $5 million bucks, and Jared's making $50 million a year, as Jamie Raskin will point out, with this hedge fund. But, you know, the Republicans in the House have no interest in it. Believe me, when the Democrats get in the House, they're going to have all sorts of interest in this. Yeah, in the past, we're going to have the sun's going to be exposed. The truth's going to be exposed as to what's going on with him and all this money that he had raining down on him. And it's all come from the Saudis. Yeah, there's the overarching energy. This investigation is not going to work out well for them. They're going to start delving into the finances here and see the backroom deals and what's been going on. And this could be what puts a freeze on the finances. And here's like, you know, your Jack Smiths. If there's a special counsel, and a special counsel may get appointed to this, this leads to a special counsel investigation. Much like they're doing against Biden for the impeachment, they'll be doing against Kushner, looking into his adventures on there. And then we get the redneck rumble for all that. And then all hell's going to break loose. Because guess what? They're going to turn that rock over, and there's going to be all sorts of problems in there. Jared is going to be causing problems for Ivanka, and that's going to tie up their money, because that money belongs to Jared. Well, it doesn't belong to Jared, but it's his businesses and such. And there's not going to be any money on the Trump side of the family, because that's all going to get squandered. All right, so yeah, there's going to be investigations into Jared. Will there be any investigations into Ivanka, or is she going to get off scot-free? Let's see what Ivanka's got going on here. 3 of coins. Looking at the backroom deals, the money, the world card, stuff that's going around the world. I mean, they're gonna look at her money, but I think more of it's coming from Jared than coming from her. In the past, you know, her biggest crime was the money she embezzled during the inauguration funds. That money never got returned. It went into her back pocket, type of thing. So there's a decision that needs to be made on her. You know, she might, again, with Ivanka, talking about Ivanka flipping on Donald, showing him where the bodies were buried, so to speak, to save her own butt. The lesson we learned is temperance. She's toxic and detoxifying. Don't be surprised if she turned, basically, showed out where the bodies were on her dad to save her own bacon. Part of a plan going forward. I don't think Ivanka, I don't see it. I don't get a vibe for it. I don't think Ivanka's going to be held accountable for anything. That's not to say she doesn't deserve it. I just don't think it's going to happen. So don't get your knives out too sharp yet. It's probably, they're not going to get all of them, but they'll get the major players. And, you know, the sooner you never hear about Ivanka again is fine. I think the rest of us just like, you know, just go away. I want to pretend like you never existed, and would be okay with that. If the next thing you hear about Ivanka Trump / Kushner is that you hear that her obituary, that would be okay. And if they forget to mention it, that'd be okay too. I'll leave it here. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.